Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
You know, here's where I get this Bongino rule from. So you don't think I just pulled this thing out of my caboose somewhere and made it up. I will never forget being a street cop in New York, especially when you're on a foot post. Because when you're on a foot post, you're out there. You don't have the, you don't have the vehicle, the car insulating you from the environment. You hear and see everything. You're there. You're right there. You would see stuff break out right in front of you, a robbery or something else. You'd be sitting there they wouldn't see you and they'd rob someone. And you'd be stunned because you'd see everything. It'd be a guy, say, 5'1" with a red jacket and blue jeans, or 5'2", some short guy, whatever it is. And the lady then come up to you, you'd run over and try to help him out, right? And lady who's getting mugged would say, "Oh my gosh, did you see him? He was like 7 feet tall with a blue jacket and red pants," inverting everything. And you'd be like, that's not what happened. That is why the first version of any event, even with the media, is almost always wrong. It applies yesterday to what happened with this school shooting. I'm going to try to be helpful today, unlike the losers and morons in the media rushing information out, turned out to be wrong, already telling you a story rather than the story. And I'm going to help you out with some actual research on these school shooting things if you're a parent. There's a little bit of time on that, not much. And then I have to get to some huge updates on this January 6th IG report because Benny Thompson's looking for a pardon, the January 6th committee chair. There's a reason. The ultimate sleep refresh for the New Year's, Beam's Dream Powder. Get up to 45% off for a limited time at shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino at checkout. Got that, a lot more for you today. Also, don't believe anything coming from the government right now about this drone story either. Not going to spend a ton of time on that. You get the point. But there's an update from Trump yesterday at the presser. Hey, what you do online is not private. Data brokers are tracking and creating a profile of your online activities, your spending habits, even your values and beliefs. In the U.S., they're legally allowed to sell that info to whoever wants to buy it. But there's a way to push back and hold on to your values, privacy, autonomy, and freedom with ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN, 100% of your online activities rerouted to secure encrypted servers. It makes it impossible for internet providers to know what you're doing online. ExpressVPN also hides your IP address so data brokers can't use that number to build a profile and sell it. ExpressVPN is easy to use. It takes just one click, works on all of your devices, phones, tablets, smart TVs, desktops, and more. Or you can have it on up to 8 devices at once, so you can give the gift of privacy and freedom to your whole family. Right now, you can get an extra 3 months for free when you use my special link. So go to expressvpn.com/Bongino and get 3 extra months of ExpressVPN. That's expressvpn.com/Bongino. Go today. All right, fellas, let's go. Folks, here's what I mean. The first telling of an event is almost always going to be wrong. We had this school shooting yesterday in Madison, Wisconsin, an obvious tragedy. Report came out. There were 5 people that were killed. Then there were 3 people that were killed. And then you've got this police chief who goes out there and he doesn't want to say the gender or any kind of identifying characteristics of the suspect in the case, which of course fosters a lot of people's gets their minds going on. Well, why would they hide that? This is the kind of stuff, and this is the main reason behind the invocation of the Bongino rule, which is just wait before drawing any conclusions. Talk about a story all you want, but I'm telling you, the first telling of events is almost always wrong, even from eyewitnesses. No less eyewitnesses talking to someone else that's talking to the media. I want you to listen to this, just quick 30 seconds from the police chief. And this was very suspicious from the start. Why would you not say the gender or sex of the suspect in the case? This was very bizarre. Check this out.
Here are the details. Today at 10:57 a.m., our team was called to the Abundant Life Christian School in reference to an active shooter. We know that 3 people are dead, including the suspect shooter. We know that the suspect shooter was a teenage student who attended the school. At this time, we're not releasing the age or gender of the student or any other identifying remarks about the student.
All right. Again, I know they're dealing with a lot, but that just started to, again, get people questioning if the American media and other people have put so much pressure on police officials that right now, even police investigations where information valuable to the public is being held back because they're afraid it's going to be perceived like another Nashville incident. The answer is the facts aren't a problem. Just get them out there. The first telling of a story is almost always wrong. Shock, stress, they distort reality. People see things and hear things that aren't there. It is the genesis of the Bongino rule. It's why I try not to get emotional about stories, tragic or not. I try to just get the story out there, put a little color to it, give you an opinion on it, so you know this is the home for truth for you. I'm trying to get out some helpful information. So, for those of you out there who have kids in schools, you're a school administrator, an SRO, school resource officer, or police officer. Again, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because tragically these things do tend to happen. I wish they didn't. There are problems. Of course, the left's creating a story. It's all about the guns, as if guns haven't existed for 200 years. No one ever goes, well, why didn't we do this when there were guns around in the 50s? Why? Oh, I don't know. I don't want to ask those questions because they're inconvenient. Maybe because we had families and churches and we didn't have the left, assailing our culture every day. I don't know. Don't ask those questions. They're really inconvenient. I'm going to get to that part in a second, but this Secret Service analysis, I know they've been going through a rough time with some terrible tactics and really screwing up with Trump, but they've done some really good things. They did part of this when I was there. This is the National Threat Assessment Center. You'll see it at the bottom, NTAC. This is a study they did with the Secret Service on school shootings and targeted violence. Folks, the link to it is in the newsletter, bongino.com/newsletter. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything. We don't spam your inbox. If you go there, you will see this link. I strongly encourage you to download it. There's about 10 bullet takeaways. I'll just go through some of them really quick. If you have a kid in school, these are the things they notice studying just a bevy of incidents just like this, targeted violence at schools. Attackers usually had multiple motives. Wait, go back to the first one. You're already zipping past. Attackers usually had multiple motives. The most common involving a grievance with classmates. Not surprising. There was usually some trauma in the classroom with these kids, bullying and things like that. I mean, everyone who's bullied is going to go up and shoot a school up? No, but this is an issue. Most attackers use firearms. They were often acquired from the home. This is something I talked about yesterday. I am a big believer in the Second Amendment. I'm also a big believer in personal responsibility and securing your firearms. I'll go through a couple more here. Most attackers had experienced psychological, behavioral, developmental symptoms. Again, the kind of thing that if a child is going through some issues independently of being bullied and ends being bullied too, you got to be careful, okay? It can tip over the edge, especially if they don't have a good support group. Half the attackers had interest in violent topics, and you'll see this more if you just want to scroll through quickly the rest of them, social stressors and things like this. Folks, this report is out there for you to read. Can't recommend it enough. Is it some dispositive final analysis? Like, if you hit all 10 of these, you are definitely going to be a school shooter. It is not. However, just like when the Secret Service goes out and investigates people who threaten the president, we have to designate them by a class 1, class 2, or class 3. Really dangerous. We do it this same way. We look at bullet points. I'm not going to say what they are because I don't want to give anybody any ideas. But if you meet 8 out of 10 of them, then yeah, you could be kind of an issue. So check it out. I hope it's helpful. I'm candidly, honestly, genuinely trying to help here and not tell you bullshit stories about it's the guns. There have been guns around forever. People going and parroting this stupid left-wing narrative. Guns have been around since the invention of this thing called gunpowder. Wow, look, it explodes. It's incredible that this has only been a problem since we've had this attack on boys, this culture war in America. I'm not sitting here telling you that access to firearms for people in trouble isn't an issue. I just said to you 5 minutes ago, even less, that yes, if you have a firearm in the house with a child who's troubled, some 13-year-old boy or girl in trouble, then, and we know the shooter was a girl now, but since that's been clear, but then it's your job to secure the firearm. I'm not naive to that. You see what honesty looks like? Not the left. Here we go already with the gun did it story, which is fascinating. Because when the United Healthcare CEO was murdered with a firearm, with an actual firearm, Did you notice the story wasn't about the gun? I thought they were against gun violence. What was the story, guys? You remember? Evil healthcare CEOs. Hey, guy shot him in the back. You see left-wingers getting tattoos of the guy with the gun shooting him. So left-wingers, go yourselves. Nobody buys your bullshit. You're telling people a story, not the story. If you thought it was about guns, you would have made it about freaking guns too when the United Healthcare guy got shot in the back. But you love that shooting. You didn't give a shit about the gun. So you could take that and shove it up your ass. You're full of shit and you know it. You just want law-abiding Americans. You want to disarm them, and you saw an opportunity for a story rather than the story, just like you saw an opportunity for an attack on free market healthcare last week. You didn't care that a guy used the gun. But here, of course, is Frank Fugazi, the infamous 8-8 loser. Fugazi's in the chat. Guy's a complete D-bag. Here he is, of course, on, MSNBC or whatever he does his commentary. And I want you to notice the hypocrisy in what he says here. He gives, in the beginning, what seems like some reasonable answer. Well, we should look at this, look at this. And then he goes right to the gun at the end and says one of the dumbest things you'll ever hear. We've got to look at these laws with kids and criminals with guns. Folks in the chat, quickly, yes or no? Aren't there already laws that prevent young kids and criminals from getting guns? Guys, I'm not sure. Any of you guys firearms owners? Michael, Justin? I'm reasonably confident, I'm not too sure. I don't know a lot about a lot. That if you're a kid or you're a criminal, that there are already things called laws that will prevent you from getting a firearm. Check this out.
You'll have certain sides saying it's all mental health. And we need to get better at that. And you know what? That's true, but it's not all mental health. We'll have people say we need to lock down schools more and have many armed officers all over a school. There have been numerous cases where there have been armed officers and they didn't get there fast enough. And so that's not the issue. Guns continue to be the issue, and particularly access to guns from people who should not have them, including criminal actors and young people who should not have access. So until we address all of these issues together and acknowledge the role of guns, we're not going to see significant change.
Now, I just want this on the record here. Did you notice these left-wing media outlets avoided the gun conversation altogether when the United Healthcare CEO was shot in the back in the middle of a Manhattan street, Manhattan, which has some of the strictest gun laws in the world? Did you notice suspiciously that nobody seemed to give a shit about guns and that thing? Why? Because the left only cares. I'm like a little too wired for today's show. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's blackout coffee or me being pissed off because I love the Second Amendment and the ability to protect myself. The left doesn't give a shit about guns. Do you understand that? It is a proxy argument. They don't care. If the left cared about guns, Joe Biden would not have pardoned his son for a freaking gun crime, dipshits on the left. They don't care about guns. They don't? No, they don't. Anyone in the chat remember when I did this whole spiel on the Second Amendment? Because I love the ability to defend yourself. It's a God-given right, okay? Why do the left go after guns? Here's your answer. It has nothing to do with the gun. The left needs you dependent on the state. A firearm gives you the ability to stand your ground and hold your own and protect yourself and your family independent of the state. They don't want that. It's the same reason they go after healthcare. They don't hate healthcare CEOs. They hate the fact that they don't control healthcare and the healthcare CEO is in the way. That's it. The gun is in the way of having you totally dependent on the state. Folks, if there was, you see the freaking gavel here, you know this. If there was ever a gavel drop, Judge Bongino has ruled, you need to trust me on this. They don't care about guns. How do I know that? Because a lot of these leftist celebrities and rich people have guns. If they cared about the gun, I'm like, oh my gosh, the gun, we got to get rid of that. It's so evil. They wouldn't have the evil device in the house themselves. That's not what's going on here. The gun is a symbol of freedom. It's a symbol of a detachment from the government. You can protect yourself. The police are not there to protect you. They're there to enforce the law. They don't like that. They don't like that. Whenever they can tell you a story, they will. So does anyone find it even remotely curious that when the gun was used in Manhattan, the narrative was completely different? Here's a Washington Post article about the slaying of the United Healthcare CEO with a firearm in one of the most liberal cities in America with strict gun laws. Notice the headline. We've got to put up the headline. It says we got to get the guns out of the hands of criminals in Manhattan. No, not that one. The other one. That's Justin's confused. He's like, that's it. Justin's like going through the computer like I'm a mess. Here's the headline in the Washington Post. It's nothing to do with guns. Guy shot with a gun in Manhattan. And what's the headline? Deny and delay. The practices fueling anger at U.S. health insurance. I thought it was the gun. Now it's practices fueling anger? Oh, practices like the government doesn't run health care, the free market does, and they don't like it, or outside of Obamacare? Anger, practices fueling anger, like murdering a dude in the middle of the street. Notice how the Washington Post headline here. This headline has nothing to do with gun control. Nothing. Because they're looking for a story. So, school shooting in Madison, it doesn't matter what the motive is, what happened, if the child is in trouble, there's a mental disorder, some sociopathological disorder. It doesn't matter. The story, the scumbag media comes in with right away. Scumbag media comes in with right away. Before they even know the story, a story they have in their head is, we've got to get rid of guns. Okay, what happened? School shooting. Fugazi and everyone else. We got to do something about the guns. Like what? Pass laws against kids having guns? Because we already have those. We already have those laws. Oh, no, more laws. Because that would have done better than the other laws. Nobody seems to. Bad guys don't. See, the thing about bad guys is bad guys they're outlaws for a reason. They don't give a shit about the laws. Folks, the Stuart Thompson guy from the New York Times, who's going to become a constant theme in the show. This is what I'm talking about. By these people come in with a pre-existing rubric in their head about what a story's about before they know shit about the actual story. Stuart Thompson and others, school shooting. Wait, was it a white person? Was it a male? Was it a non-transgender person? The story's about the gun. That's it. It doesn't matter what happened in the event. All of that stuff is irrelevant to them. Healthcare CEO, evil, shot in the back. Do we make the story about the gun? No, I think there's a better story for us. We hate free market healthcare. We want the government in control. Let's talk about that instead of the gun. Yeah, but the other story's about the gun. Hey, Joe Biden just pardoned his kid for a gun crime. That's okay. He's a Democrat. This isn't a gun control story now. Here, you doubt me? Here's Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders probably do anything to take your guns. Far left, communist radical. Commies love taking people's guns. Guns are what keep commies from taking over. So commies hate guns because the gun is in the way. Here's Bernie Sanders on one of the weekend shows talking about the United Healthcare CEO. Shot in the back by a guy in a liberal gun control city. You think you'd have this great opportunity, right? For your silly, stupid gun control narrative? Nope. Here's Bernie seeming to put the little button there, like, guy was shot in the back and murdered, but? What do you mean, but? Guy was murdered in the street. Watch how they tell you a story, never the story. Check this out.
Elizabeth Warren obviously understands killing and murder and shooting somebody in the back is totally unacceptable. But what I think has happened in the last few months is that what you have seen rising up is people's anger at a health insurance industry which denies people the health care that they desperately need while they make billions and billions of dollars in profit.
Folks, there isn't a show out there that dissects the scumbags in the media better than this. It's the reason we're the number one live stream. It's just a fact. And the Bongino army is growing by the day. When you learn to dissect the entire media ecosystem and the fourth estate environment out there, You will never see the world the same way again. My goal with this show, so you know it's always been this way, was to give you an hour so you could listen to it in a car on a commute home, right? Was to, in that hour, make sure that your eyes are open all the time, that you are awake but not woke. Because once you learn to see the media for what it is and to see through the bullshit, I promise you will never see the world the same way again. You will notice this everywhere. The media doesn't care about guns. They care about control. Now do you get the tie-in from the two stories? They need to control you. What's the best way to do it? To control your health care. The United Healthcare CEO is in the way. So if he's murdered, we go, he's murdered, but don't make it about the gun. Make it about that. Now they see a school shooting in Madison. They know emotions are still hot. They can get people to hate firearms, even though there's millions upon millions of legal, law-abiding gun owners in the country. Guns don't go off by themselves. They're like, hey, it's an opportunity to get the gun out of the way, so people have to rely on the government. It is always about control. Once you learn to see that, you will never, ever unsee it. I want to show you a video coming up next of this guy when Obamacare was passed. Obamacare, that has screwed up the used to be free market healthcare system. They broke the system completely. Guy gets murdered because of it, and yet they all walk away. They all walk away. Bernie Sanders and others, pretending they had nothing to do with this. Oh, he deserved to die. Watch. Always, always bring receipts on this show. Hey, what's your best gift this holiday season? Years or even decades off your appearance? Paula looks really young. Everybody always tells me that. You know what her secret is? Genucel. It's only 2 weeks left to get the Genucel jawline treatment with dual peptide and MDL technology. Genucel's most advanced ever. The jawline treatment not only helps tighten saggy jawlines, but plump the layers of the skin to help contour, define, and sculpt the jawline and neck area within minutes. People go abroad and spend thousands of dollars to get rid of sagging jawlines or double chins. They should try Genucel first because no one else has the technology. With Genucel's immediate effects, you can see tightening in minutes. And just in time for the Christmas and holiday season, save over 70% off Genucel's complete skincare package featuring the jawline treatment and Genucel's immediate effects. You'll even get Genucel XV wrinkle treatment included. It's really simple. Go to Genucel.com/Dan today and start looking years, even decades younger tomorrow for those family get-togethers. And as a special holiday gift, every package order includes a bonus beauty box with 2 skincare bestsellers. All orders are automatically upgraded to free priority shipping. Go to Genucel.com/Dan, GENUCEL.com/Dan. Thanks, Genucel. Folks, I got to tell you, I don't mean to interrupt my own show, but I'm really enjoying this show today, even though it's a really hard, tragic topic to talk about. I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that, but maybe I came into today's show. Some shows I'm more excited than others because this is such an obvious example, these two contrasted stories of murder. They both involve murder, school shooting, healthcare CEO shooting. They both, the end game is the same. An innocent person was killed, yet the scumbags in the media are telling you two completely different stories, both of which they have a role in by creating this left-wing cult, and yet they've divorced themselves from anything. In one case, it's the gun. The other thing, it's evil corporations. They never mention with this young woman, they'll never mention their role in the destruction of our culture, the church, family that serve as a bedrock. And in the healthcare case, they will never mention to you that the reason the healthcare system sucks, and folks, believe me, I'm in it too, the healthcare system in the United States is broken, is because the leftists broke it. Upwards of 40% of healthcare in the United States has government fingerprints all over it. That's why the process sucks. Now, let me give you a little primer here on why everybody hates healthcare right now. What Obamacare did, folks, everybody paying attention, write this down. It instituted 2 practices that will never work because they can't work, okay? And I'm going to play you this video of this guy, Gruber. He was one of the economists that helped design Obamacare, talking about how they screwed you over because they think you're stupid. I don't know if you saw this video when it came out. You may have, but it's worth replaying. Obamacare instituted community rating and guaranteed issue. Community rating means very simply, everybody's basically going to get charged the same thing. Guaranteed issue means they have to guarantee you a healthcare policy. Oh, Dan, that sounds great. No, it doesn't. Folks, if there is a guy who rides a motorcycle every single day, smokes cigarettes, and drinks a gallon of tequila 7 days a week, he should not be paying the same healthcare premium as you if you're eating your vegetables, working out, doing the sauna, doing your cardio, getting 8 hours of sleep a night. I'm sorry. The world is a tough place. Liberals, get off your mother and live in the real world, you dumbasses. What's happening right now is a bunch of really young, not very wealthy 20-year-olds are paying premiums the same as a 50-year-old guy like me had cancer with osteoarthritis who is making money. Why the hell is my 20-year-old daughter paying the same premium as me? That's what go look it up if you think I'm lying to you. Community rating and guaranteed issue. And they use these complicated words to you at the drive-thru, Leo Getz style. So all you young kids out there who voted for Obamacare, celebrating this United Healthcare CEO that got shot in the back, understand Obamacare's making you pay for a bunch of rich middle-aged people like me. That's a freaking fact, Jack. Look it up. That's a fact. You want to know who effed you at the drive-thru? Obama and the Democrats. Look it up. So because these healthcare companies now, and these health insurance companies have to charge everybody the same thing, no matter how healthy or whatever life decisions, what happens? They have to start buying other practices because they have to control the costs or they're going to go out of business. And that's why you are getting effed. Period. No. Yes. No. Yes. Do your homework. Community rating, guaranteed issue. Go look it up. Here's one of the architects of Obamacare, this economist, real smartass. This, by the way, you want to see a stupid smart person? This is the guy. You know my lecture about stupid smart people and how dangerous they are. Here he is talking about how they passed off the mandate, which was a tax, forcing you to buy some. Here's how they passed, and they confused you because you're all too stupid to do your homework. It ain't me saying it. This is the Obamacare, one of the architects saying it. Watch this.
It's just, you can't do it politically. You just literally cannot do it. Okay? Transparent financing, unless I have transparent financing, also transparent spending. I mean, this bill was written in a tortured way to make sure CBO did not score the mandate as taxes. If CBO scored the mandate as taxes, the bill dies. Okay? So it's written to do that. In terms of risk-rated subsidies, if you had a law which said healthy people are going to pay in, it made explicit that healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Okay? Just like lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But basically, that was really, really critical to getting the thing to pass. And, it's the second best argument. Look, I wish Mark was right. We can make it all transparent, but I'd rather have this law than not.
You know the stupid smart assholes? This guy's one of them. I will never stop playing this. That video is, by the way, 10 years old. You understand that this is one of the lefty lunatics that designed this, telling you how freaking stupid you are. You watching me? Here's the lefties' approach to you in the media. You're a freaking moron. How does that make you feel? They didn't tell you, if you're 18 or 20, that you're subsidizing your rich parents' healthcare plan. They didn't tell you that. You didn't know that, did you? If you're 20 years old going, holy shit, healthcare's expensive. It shouldn't be. You're 20. You have cancer, hepatitis, AIDS? No, none of that. So what the fuck are you paying for? You're never going to go to the doctor. What are you going to go for? The flu one year? It costs $200 to see the doctor. Why are you paying $5,000 a year? The answer is because you're paying for your mom and dad who already have money. You're paying for their stuff. And then when the healthcare guy gets shot dead in the middle of the street because they have to comply with this bullshit, you got all these guys, oh, look at this. This is great. You did this, assholes on the left. It's like you broke up our society and you got all these kids shooting up schools. Oh, it's going to be the guns, as if a gun's a new invention. You did the same thing with the healthcare system. So tired of you assholes, man. I really am. I'm in a good, like, I'm seriously in a good mood today. Like, is there a good dark day and a bad dark? I just, do you see what they do? You see what the liberals do? They break society, they break healthcare, they break public education, and then they turn around, kill people, and blame us for it. And dumbasses fall for it. I've even seen some people on the right. Yeah, well, these healthcare companies are fucked up. Yeah, okay, great. Why? You ever ask yourself why? Why are healthcare companies fucked up? Why? Why is it 30 years ago, people generally liked their health insurance? My father had Lawrence Healthcare. It was great. We had no problems. Why do people hate it now? Oh, look, the lefties got involved. That's what happens every time. To my conservative viewers out there who already know this, I'm sorry you have to go through all this shit. To the dumbass liberals tuning in for the first time, this is the first time you've heard about community rating and guaranteed issue. Welcome to the party, pal. It's Christmas movie season. Some of you will get that. Scandal Watch update. Why is one of the January 6th committee guys, the chairman, Benny Thompson, a communist Democrat? Why does he sound so open and receptive to a pardon by Joe Biden? I'm going to tell you, because something's going on, and I think it involves obstruction of justice. He might. That's a perfect. He thought. You and Guy always use that line whenever you want to drop a hit. Are you having trouble sleeping or staying asleep? Listen, I've been there. It's not just about feeling tired the next day. It's about the toll poor sleep can take on every aspect of your life. That's why I love Beam's Dream Powder. You heard me talk about it. It's a science-backed nighttime blend for sleep that's actually clinically shown to improve sleep and have you wake up refreshed. They sent me some to try about a year ago. I look forward to it. 2025, I'm determined to keep my life hacks going and the momentum going. Dream's part of my nightly routine. It's made a big difference. These other sleep aids cause a problem. They have this next day grogginess issue. Dream contains an all-powerful, all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. It helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, wake up refreshed. The ultimate sleep refresh for the new year. Try it out. Try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder and get up to 45% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Bongino and use code Bongino at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for up to 45% off. Try it. It's a big savings. And our last sponsor today, Omaha Steaks, the perfect gift to deliver comfort and joy to ones you love with curated gift packages. Omaha Steaks consistently delivers unrivaled quality and taste, hand-selected by master butchers from the finest grain-finished beef, extra age, flash frozen at peak flavor, and delivered right to you. And now you can deliver the perfect gift with 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code Bongino at checkout. Minimum purchase and restrictions may apply. Been a big fan of Omaha Steaks for a long time. They make it easy to shop with gift packages that are crafted. Every steak's perfectly aged for tenderness and hand-cut by master butchers in America's heartland. Grain-finished beef has more marbling and grass-fed for exceptional flavor. It's the choice of steakhouses and chefs or professional chefs around the world. The fan-favorite filet mignon has earned the coveted distinction of USDA-certified tender. Give the gift of comfort and joy with Omaha Steaks. omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and unforgettable gifts. And for an extra $30 off, use promo code Bongino at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply. That's 50% off at Omaha, O-M-A-H-A, omahasteaks.com. An extra $30 off with promo code Bongino at checkout. Thanks, Omaha Steaks. We appreciate it. Okay, back to the show. Big Scandal Watch update. I got a little bit on the drone because we've covered that. We beat that story to death, and frankly, I'm sick of talking about it. You know my theory on it. You have your own. That's cool. Much respect. I'm telling you, foreign actors are probably a good percentage of what we're seeing. Some of it's probably mistaken identity. Fine. I'm going to get to that quick, but I want to get to this first. Folks, the IG report, Inspector General, it's like the Government Internal Affairs, came out last week on the FBI's involvement in January 6th. I've been talking about it for 2 days. We now know that FBI assets were embedded in the crowd in January 6th. Most of you are like, we've known that forever. We have. Liberals denied it. The media denied it. The FBI did not have assets on January 6th. They did. Matter of fact, there were agents there too. Someone asked me yesterday, how do you know that? I said one of my friends showed me a selfie there, who is a federal agent, said there were other federal agents there. Someone asked me, why did he take a selfie? My answer was, I don't know. Maybe he didn't. This was before the whole, a riot broke out there. So I don't know. Maybe he was going to take a picture because he thought it was, I have no idea why he took it. I'm just telling you, he took it and was there. It's not my business why he took it, but I've seen it and I know there were federal agents there. So the full story of January 6th and the air quotes insurrection, I promise you, has not been told. Here is Eric Schmidt, a great senator from Missouri. This guy's doing an amazing job. He was on a short list for FBI director if Cash didn't get it. He's on Maria Bartiromo's show. There is a massive cover-up going on, folks. And I'm going to tell you what it is right now. The January 6th committee, remember crying Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, Benny Thompson, Adam Schiff, remember that clown show? Remember they put on the Hollywood producer show and trying to get you to believe there was some massive insurrection? You remember that? Folks, that committee, I'm telling you right now, maybe have some severe criminal liability coming their way. I have zero doubt they interfered with witnesses, they obstructed justice, and they destroyed evidence. There may be real crimes there. Here's Eric Schmidt on Maria's show. I'm talking about the assets, the federal assets in the crowd, and the cover-up going on right now. I think the January 6th committee knew there were federal assets in that crowd and covered it up. Watch this.
The Inspector General is coming out with all of these facts. Does that mean that Liz Cheney and the J6 committee knew about this?
Well, wouldn't that be great to know, Maria? But they destroyed all the documents on their way out. So, again, this whole thing was propped up. I just think you have to look at the arc of the story here. The January 6th committee was set up for the very specific purpose of giving somebody like Jack Smith the reason to go charge President Trump.
That's right.
And to take him out politically. You know, that's the whole thing. They had a Hollywood producer, Maria, come in and do the January 6th hearings with Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger and that whole crew. It was a total joke. They destroy the documents on the way out. Jack Smith props up these ridiculous cases that, of course, had no legal merit. The Supreme Court knocks it out with the presidential immunity ruling anyway. Fani Willis, their second in command, is meeting at the White House coordinating. The number 3 person at DOJ goes to the New York prosecutor's office. And President Trump stared all of it down, and won in a mandate, won the popular vote, and here we go now with an opportunity for a real reform agenda.
Folks, the January 6th committee was nothing more than a Hollywood movie production. It was telling you, where am I going with this? A story. It was not telling you the story. The story of January 6th is far, far more elaborate than you've been told by the scumbags in the media. Oh, yeah, it was an insurrection by some crazy MAGA hat-wearing, red hat-wearing lunatics. Ladies and gentlemen, that is bullshit. This is a far bigger story, and I'm telling you what they did. They selected. Do you ever see, here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. You ever see one of these stories? I'm trying to think of a story where it resembles almost nothing like the real story. You ever see one of these Hollywood movies and it says this is based on true events? I'll give you a perfect example. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Remember at the end of that, they were like, this is based on true events. And it turned out that it was like the Ed Gein story. Ed Gein had nothing to do with a freaking chainsaw and a leather face. Ed Gein was a serial killer. Like, that was the only thing they had in common. It had nothing to do with a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's what the January 6th committee was. They were committed to a story. MAGA hat-wearing insurrectionists and Chewbacca were going to take the country over. Any evidence that conflicted with that, hey, there may have been maybe some Antifa, maybe some FBI assets in the crowd. Was there some incitement involved? I'm not absolving everyone of blame in this. I want to be clear. I'm just simply telling you that I'm willing to tell you the truth, and these assholes on the left aren't. They eliminated that evidence. And all of a sudden, a lot of the evidence the January 6th committee had seemed to magically disappear. So that explains this. Why is Benny Thompson, the chairman, all of a sudden very nervous, and Adam Schiff too, and Benny Thompson seems really interested in a pardon? They don't want to answer what the informant's instructions were on January 6th. Was it to incite a riot? I don't know. I'd love to find out. What did the January 6th committee, why are they playing dumb about the bomber, the pipe bomber at the DNC? Why are they playing dumb about FBI assets? And why destroy records? Why would you destroy records if you were interested in telling the story? I want you to watch this interview. This is the chair of the committee, Benny Thompson, with Reverend Al. Guy's another joke and a clown. Here, he's asked about a pardon. If he did nothing wrong, Benny Thompson, and this was all on the up and up, then why would you need a pardon? Folks, I don't need a pardon for a bank robbery. I never robbed a freaking bank. What the hell would I seek a pardon for? Watch this. This is very telling. Check this out.
So in light of that, do you think President Biden should do preemptive pardons, and would you accept one if he offered it?
Well, let me say this. If the president, in his infinite wisdom, determined that the work of our committee was legitimate and that we should not be penalized for doing what we as members of Congress should do, and he offers that pardon, I will take it.
Of course he'll take it, because he knows there may be obstruction of evidence, obstruction of justice. Destruction of evidence, obstructing justice, witness tampering. Folks, this story is huge. Now let's go back and dial this back a little bit about why Benny Thompson, the chair of the Hollywood-produced January 6th committee, is so nervous and wants a pardon. Do you remember this line of questioning from Congressman Tom Massey, who has been all over this pipe bomber case? He asks Benny Thompson, it's about 1:20, but it's worth every second. He's like, hey man, you were the January 6th guy. This pipe bomber planted this bomb on January 6th at the DNC, almost killed Kamala Harris. Why are we the only ones asking questions? Why haven't you touched that? Watch Benny Thompson. Oh, I don't know, man. If you guys know something, it's not our job. It's your job. You're the January 6th committee guy. Watch this, and you'll see why this guy, he wants to tell you a story, not the story. Check this out.
Are you concerned about the lackadaisical attitude of the secret, or maybe you haven't seen the video? Have you seen the video of this discovery of the second pipe bomb?
No. Let me just say, a lot of what you've said here today, I have not been privy to, but I am of the opinion that if the chairman wants to look into that, you convince him to issue the subpoena, I'll go with him.
If I would like to show you that video at some point. I'm surprised your committee did not find it. I mean, there were 2 bombs that day, and according to FBI and ATF and Capitol Police, they were operable, viable bombs. One of them was just feet from Kamala Harris, who was going to become the Vice President of the United States. And the Secret Service sat there in their patrol car. It looks to me like they finished eating their lunch before they got out to look at it. And then it was 10 minutes. This is all on video. 10 minutes before they got Kamala Harris out of there. And again, it is Secretary Mayorkas who oversaw the production of these documents, these texts, which were never produced. And that's a real problem for me.
Where were the texts, the Secret Service texts on January 6th? You think Benny Thompson, the chairman, wants to know? Benny Thompson doesn't give a shit. Folks, the biggest scandal of our time is who the hell planted the damn pipe bomb on January 6th at the DNC, and what was Kamala Harris doing there? She still, to this day, does not want to talk about it. It was a setup. It was a fake assassination plot set up by an insider to stop Republicans from talking about election interference on certification day. Factaroo. And that's why neither Benny Thompson or anyone else wants to talk about it. Folks, whoever is the next Secret Service director and FBI director, if you're not going to get to this story on day one and reestablish trust in these 2 prized entities, we need these operations cleaned up. If not, disband them. If you're not going to clean them up and get the FBI focused on actual investigations again and counter-terror, then disband it. It's useless. What's the freaking point? If the Secret Service is not going to protect the president and not engage in political cover-ups, then disband it. I'd rather have private security take over. What's the point? So tired of being lied to. So I titled this segment Scandal Watch, because this is what we do, because the media isn't even remote. Where's Stuart Thompson on this story? Is he even remotely curious? You know, that Bongino, conspiracy theorist, he's got a point. Why was Kamala Harris at the DNC? Why was there a pipe bomb there and the January 6th chairman doesn't even seem remotely interested? I don't know, Mr. Massey, if you got information. I thought you were the committee chair, dumbass. I don't believe anything coming from the government anymore. And let me tell you something, you shouldn't either. You are being bullshitted all the time. These people are full of crap. Everything they tell you is nonsense. I don't want to spend a ton of time on the drone thing. We've beaten it to death. But this is kind of important because President Trump made a comment yesterday at a press conference. He does. Joe Biden, of course, can't handle a press conference. Doesn't matter. Joe Biden is he's the Pino, the president name only right now. Donald Trump's the actual president right now, which is kind of funny to watch. Watch Joe Biden just be thrown to the scrap heap by both Democrats and Republicans. Donald Trump was asked a question about the drones yesterday, and he says the same thing. For all the people who think I'm crazy, I'm telling you the government knows who it is. It's going to leak out because, as I said yesterday on my radio show, the government can't keep a secret about anything. People have a bunch of loose lips. It's going to leak out, and most of these sightings, I shouldn't say most, a portion of them are going to be foreign drones surveilling our sensitive locations. You don't have to believe me. I'm willing to I'll go to the wall on that one. It's not going to be every single one. There may be some flag it. There we go. There may be some recreational stuff, some cases of mistaken identity, but I'm telling you the government knows, and Trump knows they know too. Check this out.
Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense.
So there's a theme to today's show. I don't know if you've caught it, but the theme is the media obviously telling you a story, not the story. And because they have to tell you a story that's not true rather than the story it is, what they do is an intermediary to block people from ever searching for the story, like the January 6th story, block people from looking up why their healthcare sucks. Oh, look, healthcare sucks because of Obamacare and the government. They don't. So what they do is they put as a blocker, it's like a fax vaccine to the truth. They block you with Dr. Fauci, Jonathan Gruber, that economist you saw on tape calling you guys morons. They block you with the pseudo expert. The media will say, well, what do you know, Dan Bongino, about masks? You're not an expert on mask epidemiology. I may not be dumbass Stuart Thompson from the New York Times, but I can tell you this, I'm not stupid. Every freaking person that wore a mask got COVID. Everyone. So I always use the analogy of the condom. Say you have a lot of sex. May make you a little uncomfortable. Good. Maybe the analogy will hit home. A condom is meant to be a prophylactic device. The whole idea is to prevent STDs or pregnancy, correct? Imagine you have a lot of sex, and every time you have sex, you get an STD and you get someone pregnant with a condom. Would you wear the condom anymore? You'd be like, no, Dan, that'd be stupid. That's the mask. Only dipshits believe in the mask. But because they don't want you to see the truth, they block you with this patina of experts, the crust of experts. So you never get to the inside of this shit cake they're selling you. Fauci said masks work, and liberals like, yeah, man, Fauci said so. Because they're too freaking stupid to do their own homework. So a lot of these younger folks got caught up in this woke ideology now too, because the experts told them there's a difference between sex and gender. Really? What is it? Well, listen to them go on and on. Well, gender, you determine later on at life. Well, I'll say, no, you don't. Let me give you a quick test. When a baby's born, you guys paying attention to this? This is everybody in the chat, you ready? Put down what you're doing. You got your coffee, maybe your blackout, take a sip. Okay. Put the coffee cup down. This is very, very advanced. You woke liberals ready? If when your kid is born, they've got a unit downstairs, they've got a penis downstairs, it's definitely a boy. That's the sex and the gender. No. Michael's stunned. Michael, like, the chair, mine's like locked. He almost fell off the freaking chair back there. Justin had to make a ninja-like move away from the keyboard, grabbed him by the left hand, almost dislocated his shoulder in the process, grabbing the freaking chair from falling over because Michael simply can't believe it. If your kid has a penis, the sex and gender are the exact same. He's like that. I'm under the hood for review. Guy's throwing the red flag. He wants a review on that. But the experts, the stupid smart people, the Grubers, the Fagazis, the Benny Thompsons, the Faucis, Yale, this is an Ivy League school that actually believes sex and gender should be used to refer to a person's self-representation. It doesn't matter what you self-represent. If you've got a unit, you're a dude. Nobody gives a shit what you self-represent. There's a unit. A unit. No, please. I am definitely a man. It's still there. This is not hard. This is not difficult. This show is freaking crazy. Where's this all coming from? Did you see this clip went nuclear yesterday on social media? There's a dumbass left, again, trying to tell you a story. Sex and gender are different. Really? How come there are no women dominating men's sports if there's no difference? I'm curious. How come there's not a woman who thinks she's a guy who's like competing at the UFC heavyweight level? I'm just curious. Why is it? Why isn't there a single NFL quarterback that has chromosomes for a woman who thinks she's a guy? Why, if there's no difference? I'm just curious. Why is that? Here's Ted Cruz questioning an expert. This is great. This is a big W for Senator Ted Cruz. Hey, why do women's sports exist then if there's no difference between the two things? Check this out.
I'm trying to get a yes or no. I'm not trying to get a speech. Is there a difference between women and men?
I think that there are definitions for biological sex.
Okay, so you're not answering that. Let me ask you this question then. Why do women's sports exist? If you can't define a difference between women and men, why not abolish women's sports and just tell little girls to swim with little boys and see who wins?
Oh, I'm simply saying that that sex is different
question,
than gender.
Why
and I do believe that women's sports have a great
exist?
value. I mean, Senator, I'll tell you right
Ms.
now.
Robinson, please answer the question I'm asking you.
Absolutely.
Why do women's sports exist?
I think that there are so many positive benefits to sports.
But
I mean,
why have a
we've talked
separate
about it here
category for
today.
women? If there's no difference between women and men, why to have women's sports?
I'm saying that there's a difference between sex and gender, and that the NCAA has rules in place, which they have for the last decade.
Mr. Chairman,
which
I would like to enter into the record an article from Duke Law called Comparing Athletic Performances for the Best Elite Women to Boys and Men. And it goes through examining in 2017 the top records for women in the world in various track and field events. So, for example, in the 100 meter, the top record for women in the world was 10.71 seconds. Now, that record for the number one woman in the world in 2017 was, in the year 2017, broken by 124 boys under 18. In that same year, the record for the number one competing woman in the 100-meter dash in the world was broken by a total of 2,474 men.
Yes. You get it? You get the theme? How dumbasses in the media and their moron leftist acolytes only exist to tell you a story, not the story, and the facts vaccine wall in between, that they get the dumbass disciples that keeps them segregated, a story from the story, so they never see the truth, are experts like this moron up on Capitol Hill. Experts. Look at this story from the Daily Caller. The Biden administration, full of experts, by the way, dumped hundreds of thousands into ensuring military parents affirm their child's gender identity. Let me save you hundreds of thousands of dollars with this very simple test. Look at that. That's great. If you got a penis, you're a dude. Consider it affirm. Send me the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm making charitable donations this year. I will send it off to Folds of Honor or someone else. Save the taxpayers the money, please. Folks, man, today's show has been like a lot. I've been in a mood all week with this stuff because I feel like I've hit this inflection point in my life where I'm not going to let anyone fall for stupid anymore. I'm going to tell you something. I want to see if you guys agree with me. I'd love to hear it in the chat. Trump's lasting gift, I said to you, was going to be his remaking of the Republican Party about the working man, minority communities. And I still believe that. But I would say either tied or second, his biggest gift to the Republican Party is going to be finally a cracking of this woke culture where the facade of expertise was completely collapsed. The Dr. Fauci's of the world, the Obamacare Gruber guy, the Frank Fugazi, the FBI managers that were supposed to be experts in counterterrorism and investigation. The allure of expertise has been shattered by a brash New York City billionaire who came in like a wrecking ball and said, you know what, I'm not saying these people aren't smart. They may be smart in a very specific area, but the fact that they've taken that expertise into politics and tried to control the lives of millions of people, these people are the problem. They're not the solution to the problem. I would argue that that's Donald Trump's either equal or second greatest gift to the Republican Party, is fracturing this illusion that the left is the party of expertise. They're the party of morons. Wear a mask, get the vaccine. Men can be women, women can be men. The government can control healthcare. The gun's the problem. All wrong. You were right the entire time. Folks, thanks again for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Please spread the word. Tell your friends where they can find us. We are the biggest live stream in the world. #1 yesterday, thanks to you. I so deeply appreciate it, Bongino Army. Hashtag Bongino Army on X and True Social. Rock on, man. I really appreciate it. Go to rumble.com/Bongino. We are only on Rumble for the video show. Audio, you can check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go to the Dan Bongino Show. Just give us a follow while you're there on those platforms. Download the Rumble app, too. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you back here tomorrow.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.
Eight.